YouTube, what's going on? Andrew Darling here, Mr. Darling 4. Guys, you guys saw my grades video. I did really well my second semester. I want to talk to you about three things. So I want to talk about grades real quick. I want to talk about class rank. And I want to talk about transferring after your 1L year. So before my grades came out, I hadn't really thought about class rank much. I hadn't really thought about transferring much. But then I got to thinking, life and law school are a whole lot of business decisions. So I love where I go to school. I love the Charlotte School of Law. Like I said, I did really well with my grades. I ended up with a 3.31 for the semester, brought me above a 3.0 for the year. And then class rank came out. And I really didn't think I moved up as much as I did. After the first semester, I was 51st out of like 187. So I was in the 28th percentile of the class. After this semester, and taking into consideration my whole first year of law school, I'm currently sitting at 19th out of 146. So I'm well within the top 15%. It's like 13 something percent. And that's a big deal for transferring out. So lots of people try to transfer from all sorts of schools for a lot of reasons. They want to be closer to home. They want to get into a higher ranked law school. There's a lot of reasons to transfer, and everybody's reason is going to be different depending on them and what they want out of their law school journey, or just depending on what they're trying to do. For me, as you guys know, I drive 90 miles one way to class. I wasn't going to use names of law schools, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. So you guys know I go to the Charlotte School of Law. I love it here. I really do. We don't have the greatest reputation. Our bar passage rate isn't the highest, but it's actually not even it's in the bottom 3 out of 7 in the state of North Carolina. But I live in Columbia, South Carolina, which is right where the University of South Carolina is. I had no intentions of transferring. I still really don't have any intentions to transfer, but I have to make the best decision for myself and my family. So I applied to South Carolina, and I applied to Florida State University. I've been a Florida State fan since I was little. I've been to the Florida State football game for the last 10 years. I went to Florida State's national championship a couple years ago. I'm a huge Seminole fan. However, that would force me to either move by myself to Tallahassee, or to move myself and my children to Tallahassee, and my wife being active duty on the Army, she's going to still be in Columbia. That's a complicated family decision. It's something that, if I'm accepted, Florida State's a top 50 law school. That's a really hard thing to turn down. We know we're going to probably end up in Florida in 5, 6, 7 years anyway. It's a tough decision. But not talking about my decision, talking about the decision in general. So generally, transfer students do not get scholarship money. When you start at a law school, you get scholarship money. They give you whatever dollar amount they come to based on your LSAT score, your GPA, lots of other factors, whether you're a veteran, whether you're a particular age group, whether you have particular years as a professional, all these different requirements that the ABA tracks and does all kind of different things with information-wise. The schools are going to offer you a scholarship based on all those different criteria. So when I decided to go to law school, it was May of last year. I took the LSATs in 2012. So in May of 2015, I decided to go to law school. I was past the deadline to start in the fall for most traditional law schools. I applied to Charlotte School of Law. I got in. I made the decision to make that drive, and I've done it for a year. And the drive is not fun, but it's not undoable. It's not terrible. It's not to the point where you can't do it. It's not that bad. But at the end of the day, that's 15 hours a week. Essentially, if I did get into South Carolina and decided to go to South Carolina, I live 13.3 miles from South Carolina, from the campus. So for me, it would be a pretty simple drive. Even if it took me an hour round trip, which it won't, I'm saving 10 hours a week in driving alone. So that's a huge plus for South Carolina. Obviously, they're quite a bit higher ranked than Charlotte is, and then Florida State's even higher ranked than them. So why should you or shouldn't you transfer? Transfer students traditionally do not get scholarship money. Okay, I'll be completely frank with you guys. I'm trying to change that. Whether it's just me or what, it doesn't make business sense to me for a transfer student not to get scholarship money. if they're that attractive of a candidate to a school, they should get some scholarship money. A lot of times I think transfer students just accept that they don't get scholarship money and they don't ask. But I mean, I've had really good conversations with the folks here at the Charlotte School of Law, and I mean, it's going to take something incredible for me to leave the Charlotte School of Law. Getting into Florida State, top 50 law school. My daughter starts high school this year. My son starts elementary school. My wife being all right with us moving there, and then her, being able to be there essentially a few weekends a month, maybe. Like, these are things that we have to deal with as a family. But your situation is going to be different. So should you apply to other schools after your first year of law school, it's going to depend on your GPA. It's going to depend on your class rank. If you're in that top 25% of your class, you should probably apply to other schools, if nothing else, to keep your school honest. So if you have an acceptance letter from another school and the tuition at that school is going to be cheaper for whatever reason, you need to bring it to your school and say, listen, this is what this school is going to do for me. What can you do for me? It's not personal. It's a business decision. You have to do what's best for you. You're going to be the one paying back these loans all these years later. It's up to you. So should you do it? Yeah, absolutely. If you have the GPA, if you have the thought process to potentially go closer to home, maybe go further away from home, go to a particular school that you're a fan of, whatever your thought process is, that the place that you may want to go is better for you, you have to consider that. If you don't, you're doing yourself a disservice. You really are. So definitely evaluate the situation. If you want to transfer, regardless what your grades are, as long as you're above a 2.5-ish, or I mean, if you're in the top half of your class, while it's less likely that you'll be accepted elsewhere, the worst thing they're going to do is say no. And you're going to pay your 30 or 90 or 60 or whatever the application fee is on the LSAC website, which I have a whole nother conversation about how I think that's a ripoff, but I'm going to smile and not talk about that in this video. So definitely you should do what's best for you and your family. That's the decision that I'm going to have to make here. And I still have to get in. I still have to get accepted to South Carolina or to Florida State and to Florida State, either or. But I'll make that decision, and I'll keep you guys somewhat in the loop. So law school has been a journey. The first year has been great. You guys have seen some of my struggles. You've seen some of my better times, but I just wanted to keep you guys kind of up to date. So I did really well. Grades matter. Do I think they matter as much as having the interpersonal skills to build relationships with people who are alumni and in the community and whatnot? No, I don't think they're as important. I don't think they're even close to as important. But they do help. Class rank, that is hugely important. Again, if you feel like staying at the same school, it's not as big of a deal because you're going to be able to still network. You're still going to have more time to put in the relationship building exercises and the work that you have to do that sort of stuff. But, I mean, it's beneficial. That's for certain. And then, of course, transfer. Should you transfer, you have to make the best business decision for you, but you have to make it knowing that you have to live with that decision. So if you transfer to another school and you're miserable, that's not worth it. There's not a whole lot of financial incentive to be miserable. Sorry, it's just not. I will pay more to be happy than I would to pay less and be miserable. So we'll see what happens. I'm really excited about how well I did grades-wise. Really excited about where I moved up to in the class rank. That's a huge deal for me. That opens up a lot of opportunities. I'll probably be participating in our law review write-on competition because law review is also a big deal in law school. But I'm excited to see what happens over the rest of this summer. I'm going to go ahead and do some more of my summer school work now. So thank you guys so much. Again, if you've waited and spent 10 minutes of your life listening to me talk, like and subscribe. I appreciate it, guys. I really do. Just a quick recap. Grades, class rank, should you transfer after your 1L year? I don't know. Those are things you got to make up for yourself. But thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Take care. And we'll talk to you very, very soon in the next one. Take care.